Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Hope and Healing Family Cafe. And we are looking forward this afternoon to having some discussion around coronavirus and the impact on families. And I think that it's really important to keep in mind that so many parents these days have been thrown into a homeschooling role, which they weren't prepared for, never thought they would be doing. And we are now practically spending 24 hours a day at home with our kids, in a closed environment as we're practicing isolation. And so we're going to talk about what the impact is and what that's like. And we're especially pleased to have Cherese with us today, who it was a former preschool teacher, now a coordinator. She'll introduce herself in a moment, but we're going to be having a really good dialogue about the impact on parents and families, and maybe some tips for what we can do around education in our homes. All right. So Yasmine, go ahead and introduce yourself.
My name is Yasmine and I don't know what title I have just yet. A little bit of everything. I like to say. We are from Hope and Healing Homes, Anne-Marie and I. Gonna ask Cherese a couple of questions. Cherese and I are good friends and comadres for a very long time. So I thought picking the perfect person I can think of that can give me some serious answers and fun answers, because she is very hands-on, not just as a former preschool teacher, but not coordinator, but a mom.
Excellent.
Always, first and foremost, a mom. And she does all of these hands-on things with her kids on a normal basis. So it's interesting to know the things that she's doing. She told me a little bit of what she was doing while the children are home. So Cherese, if you wanted to answer that first question, what has being home with the kids all day done or to or for the family?
You want to introduce yourself first, Cherese, so we all know a little bit about you?
Mhm. Hi, everyone. My name is Cherese Chambers. The mom of 6, oldest being 22, youngest being 8. I started teaching back in 2001, so I've been doing it on and off almost 18, 19 years. Right now, my title is an early childhood coordinator for a program called Early Steps to School Success, which is funded through Save the Children, which is worldwide.
Wow.
Um, and I am based at Lincoln Bassett right now. So I'm at the school. I actually work at the school that my children attend.
That's nice.
Fun.
Nice. So is it a preschool
So,
program that's in the school?
so what I do is I partner with the preschool, 2 of the preschool classrooms at Lincoln Bassett, where we do a book bag exchange each week. As long as the parents sign their child up for it, they get 4 books. And it's the idea of it is for the parents to read to them at home. And when they bring the books back, then they exchange it for another 4 books. And I do that weekly. But along with that, I go down in their classrooms once a week and I do a read aloud. Just so that they can get to see my face and I get to see theirs and they're familiar with me. So I'm forming a relationship with the children as well as the families.
Wow.
Outside of that, I do home visits. Well, I would be doing home visits with children, with women who's pregnant all the way up to children with that's 3 years of age. And I kind of do the same thing, a book exchange, activities, teaching them basically to utilize how to utilize the things that they have at home to do activities, daily activities with their kids, that won't cost you much at all.
That's wonderful.
That's just a brief, description of what I do.
That's a wonderful program.
Thanks. Thanks. Now, to answer your question, yes, we find ourselves spending a lot more time together. And what we did was we would probably do game night twice out the month. Since we've been home for almost 6 weeks, well, I was home before then, and then now they're being home, we're doing game night twice a week. And then movie night. And that goes, if all 6 children are here, then we have 2 board games side by side. and we switch off after one is done. Maybe the other day we did Uno, and we did Uno and Connect Four. So, you know, my husband and three of the kids were playing, and I was playing with the other three, and then we switched off, you know. So that was a lot of laughter. It was a lot of fun seeing how the older kids interact with the younger kids, and, you know, just memory lanes, how the older kids get mad and the younger kids, to them, it's all fun and games. You know,
Right.
it's like, hello, you would think that the older kids would be the ones that's cracking up and the younger kids be mad, but it's complete opposite. Um, Another thing that we've been doing is I've been allowing the kids to help me plan. So if I cook tonight and I say, okay, today we're gonna have spaghetti, what do you guys want for dinner tomorrow? So if one person is allowed to tell me, okay, I want French fries and hamburgers tomorrow, then the next person is able to tell me. So they kind of helping with the menu as well.
Oh, that's a good idea.
That was about it. I wanted to try painting. I have a friend that I did reach out to. Back in January, my daughter had a paint party. And so this lady has started for a family paint night. You call her up, and depending how many children you have, she'll draw everything out and just drop the canvas off to you. So that's something that we're going to be doing this week coming up.
That's a great idea. I love that idea. Now, since you were doing with your program, dropping off the book bags and everybody's getting books to read, and then when you do the home visits, you do the same thing. It seems like your program is really focused around helping families read together and ingraining kind of reading as part of just like a natural everyday culture. How does that play out if you do game night, helping with recipes? Do you have a way of incorporating reading into those types of activities as well?
Yes. Most of the time, I have my youngest daughter, she sits at the kitchen table with it while I'm prepping. She's reading out loud. So that way I hear her, and if she's making a mistake or she's stuttering or stumbling across the word, I'm able to go over there and help her, you know, sound the word out and then go
Right.
back. She's gaining independence, but I'm also there as, you know, a help as well.
Excellent.
Still doing what I need to do as a mom, and
Right.
she's still getting things done that she needs to get done as well.
Wow.
We still get the bond.
Good. That's excellent. I used to struggle with my nephew when he was young enough, and we would play the box games, board games. I would try to get him to read the instructions of the game, and I was trying to get him to start to enjoy reading, and he always just wanted to make up his own instructions. He never wanted to do the reading part. But I know that you all have some creative ways of incorporating reading is just a part of everything that we do.
Yes. And what I had to tell my sister and what I'm learning as far as working with families now, it's not, when you're reading with a child, it's not a rush. So if they want to flip through the books, if they want to if they want to chew on the book a little bit or whatever, that's still a part of the process. That's still a part of them learning to read. So give them time to explore the book, get to know it. You know, if they want to read it from the back to the front and then from the front to the back, allow them that time. And if that means that while you're reading, they're snatching the book away, you say, okay, you know what I'm saying? Are you ready to read now? Give them that time.
Mm-hmm.
The worst thing you can do is like yell or get upset because it deters them from reading. Now they don't want to read no more because they remember that moment. You know, you want to make it fun.
Oh, that's such a perfect tip, because I think just from my mindset, it is like I understand that reading is fundamental. And so I'm very strict, or I have been in the past. I've got grown up kids now, but in the past, we're kind of like, we need to have this set time to read, and you need to be reading this amount. And I was very strict about it. But I think that I was learning with Roydell, I didn't really pay attention to the signs that you're saying, is that you can kind of go about it at your own pace. And just getting him to enjoy having the book in his hand or flipping through the pictures is a part of the process. That was gold right there.
Mm-hmm.
Yasmine, any more questions?
What have you grown closer with the children?
Oh yeah, definitely. I had experience because Raekwon has been coming over so much. My oldest son moved out. Um, the other day I was sitting here and we were all just laughing and joking around and everything, and I happened to look up and I said, you know what? I have all three of my boys. I have two sets, a set of boys and a set of girls. So at this
Oh,
particular time, for 2 hours, I didn't even realize it was just me and the boys. You know what I mean? In the
wow.
room, just laughing, 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 having a good time. They're telling me about work, and Raekwon's telling me about his roommates, and then Oliver is, sorry, Bobby is coming in saying stuff about school and everything. And then an hour, Quan took out, the boys went for a ride. Hour later, I'm looking up, we're laughing and going around and looking. Lo and behold, it's me and my three girls. So the
Mhm.
other day, I actually got to spend 3 hours with the boys separate and then 3 hours with the girls separate. So that was
Wow.
like, that's something that hasn't happened in a while. So I'm loving it.
That's
Yeah.
wonderful. So that's one of the precious, that's one of the bonuses, right, in a way of being, unfortunately, when we think about being kind of locked down and in isolation, sometimes our mind always thinks about the negative parts, but that's like a really good thing that you've come out of it with. What would you say would be one of the most challenging things about this?
The two youngest, when they get the bickering and getting at each other, it's like,
Yeah,
oh my goodness,
yeah,
what can I do? You know, so I try to, I'll say, okay, you can help me do this. And then while you're doing that, I need you to come upstairs and help me do that. And then we're going to do it together. So a good example, I was telling Yasmine last week, Saturday, they were going at it. So I had Imari straighten up downstairs. I had Bobby come upstairs and straighten up his room. And I say, I want to paint today. Today I want it to be a paint day. So we went to Home Depot. I got paint. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna start off. Before I even came out the room, they had put on their clothes and they started painting my office for me. So that, you know, they came
mhm.
together, we played the music, utilize trying to get them together to do something that they both enjoy, but have their own space. You have to give them their own space. So this wall is yours and this wall is yours. You do the front of the door, you do the back of the door. They're still together, but they still have their own job and no time to bicker.
Okay, that's a good one.
So we went from there. We actually did my office. Then we went outside and we spray painted the old dressers.
Wow,
And then just the other day, we did the kitchen as a family.
nice.
So
Wow.
we're utilizing this time to get stuff done around the house and
Mm.
spend time as a family together.
Oh, you're really tackling big projects. I thought it was little things you were doing. These are big that's
Getting
that's
it all out the
good.
way.
Yeah, that's a really great idea. Yeah. I think sometimes we're
Hmm.
still thinking so small, you know?
Mhm.
And because your
Yeah, it's
younger
a
one is, the
great
younger one
time
you
to do
said is 8.
spring cleaning.
Yeah, yeah. And this is a good time for them to be involved, even at that age.
Yes, definitely.
Yep. Wow.
And they want to be helpers. I think a
Yeah.
lot of times we forget that they can become frustrated too. Kids become easily frustrated too. They're having to stay in the house and their whole schedule has changed as well.
Yes.
So we have to, you know, be mindful of that and, you know, still ask how are they feeling today? Is there anything that's bothering you? Would you like to go for a walk or would you just want to, you know, run in the yard for a little bit? Anything, you know, you have to give them time to talk about what's going on and not just put them in the front of the computer to do that Google Classroom because they're not getting recess anymore. They're not getting art. They're not getting music. They're not getting which they can be. And I'll get to that in a little bit.
All right. Okay. Good
What
tip.
are some What are some of the things that you've learned from your older kids, Cherese, that you really didn't know on a personal level? Anything?
What am I learning from that? I didn't realize as they got older, they tend to go in their own crowd. But what I didn't realize is how close they are because they still know about everything that's going on with each other. So even though they're all Deracia's the only one with me, Oliver stays with Not, and you know, Raekwon has his own apartment, they still keep in touch with each other. They still are in contact with each other to know, okay, you're not feeling good today or what's going on with you. They know that. So I like that, because when it's a problem, when they feel like I need to step in, one of them do reach out and be like, Mom, maybe you should call. Not necessarily telling me what's going on, you know what I mean? But just call and check on it. You know, play it off by doing da 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 da, and I love that.
Yeah,
That's nice.
that's nice.
Really
That's
good.
nice. Very, very nice. So what do you do for yourself to de-stress now that you're home?
Pandora and a nice glass of wine. Ooh, that's it. Or I might, the other day, I got a little overwhelmed, so I just went for a ride. No music, no nothing. I went for a ride just around the block, came back, sat in the car 10 minutes, and then went back in the house, you know?
So
But
just
if it's
10
at
minutes to
night
get your own
after
space.
everything, I'm sorry.
Just 10 minutes to kind of get your own space.
Yes, yes.
Wow. Okay.
And I think it's
Yeah,
also important for parents to know that it's okay to feel overwhelmed. I mean, I feel like people think it's a bad thing that they admit that they feel overwhelmed. It's actually healthy to admit that you're overwhelmed and just trying to connect with different people to get ideas on what you can do to kind of like have your time as well. Yes, you want to be there for the kids and they're home, but you also need your little bit of time, and that's okay as well. You don't need to feel guilty about it.
right. Right, and it's very important that you get that time, because again, for the parents that were working and now, because of what's going on, are now home with their kids, that's a big change. So yeah, make sure you take that time for yourself. 5 or 10 minutes to yourself is very important. I don't know if that means if you want to listen to music, whatever you do for your time, your me time, still get that me time in. Even if you got to go in the bathroom, if you got to go in the backyard, if you got to go in the basement, or taking a ride, something simple as that, you really need to make sure you get your me time in.
Yeah, it's very important. So in saying that, Anne-Marie, did you want to talk a little bit about what you do with OASIS to kind of give them tips on how to de-stress?
Oh, sure. Yes.
Give you the opportunity to
All right. Thank
share
you.
that.
Yeah. So I'm a part of a program called OASIS in the Overwhelm Cherese. And what is wonderful about this program is that it gives you 4 very practical tips that you can use and basically shut your brain off from all the anxiety, frustration, stress, and calm yourself down in 60 seconds or less. So there are 4 strategies that we teach, and they're very, very simple to learn. So you want me to show you one? Yasmine, was that the idea?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, awesome. All right. So how about if we do, let me do this one with you. So Cherise, you talked about the time that, the kids were kind of going back and forth, a little bit of arguing with each other, and it gets frustrating for you. I want you to think about when you're frustrated like that, where do you feel it in your body? You too, Yasmine.
My heart races and my head goes like this.
I get the pressure in the head. I get the pressure in the head and like the neck. Just like I feel like somebody's on it.
Yeah.
Like that type of a pressure.
And I know when I recognize it, sometimes I feel it like my chest just feels like it's tightening up, but also that tightening in your chest, right?
In the neck area.
Yeah. So when you feel that and you recognize that at that moment, this is what I'm going to ask you to do. So right now, I want you to put yourself back there as if you were right in that situation with whatever it is that was frustrating you. And I want you to feel it wherever you're feeling it in your body. I want you to go way back there, and you probably can get there fairly easily.
Quickly.
Yeah, just go back there. Think about whatever the situation was, and you're going to start to feel whatever that tightness, the head pounding, the heart thing, whatever it is. All right. And then I want you to just pick up your hand and act as if you have a remote control in your hand. I want you to identify what you're feeling in the moment. So you're in the situation now. You're feeling something in your body. What are you feeling? Put a name to it. Tell me what you're feeling in the moment.
Frustration.
Frustration, Cherise?
Yeah, anger.
Anger, and I was going to say a little bit of anxiety. And so in that moment, so now you've named it, you're on that channel. And I want you to see that you're on a specific channel. Now, what channel do you want to be on? I'll just think about it in your mind for a second. Don't even answer out loud. Just think about what channel you want to be on. And now I want you to click the remote control, click, and go to the other channel. Take a few deep breaths.
That is
Go for it, Cherise.
truly amazing.
What did you say?
She said it's
I
truly
said
amazing.
that is truly amazing. We
It
can use. I'm gonna use those like when I have my little panic attacks that I be having. That is something that I definitely will use. Instead of my little counting to 10 and breathing in and out. You know,
Yes,
that
yes.
worked a little faster.
Yep, 60 seconds, and just that quickly, because you make a decision. Your brain can make a choice about where you want to stay, right?
Mhm.
We're not saying that you don't feel the stress, the anxiety, the pain. You feel it, but you can make a choice to be in a different place emotionally at that moment. And so just with a click of a button, just like a remote control, press the button and turn the channel. And then you go there, right, in your breathing, and just breathe that in, breathe it in. And that's it. And at that point, you can choose to either do more, ask yourself more questions if you've got more time, or in 60 seconds, you can just move on.
Yeah.
Just that simple.
It definitely, if you're in an like when I'm feeling frustrated, you know, I tell you, I always give myself my time.
Yes.
Kind of like bring myself down, and that's me bringing my own self down, trying to anyway. And even if the situation doesn't change, or how this little activity that you just did, it makes you click that mindset of the anger just for that time. And I think that is what would work for people, because the moment that you have to think about, okay, where do I want to be? Boom, you get a smile on your face of where you want to be.
Right.
Anger gone.
Yep.
Right. I want to be here.
Right. And it's just enough to stop your brain in that moment, because for some people, when you're feeling that tightness, that frustration, that anger, you can go to the other end, right? And you might say something the wrong way, you might handle it back badly, it can go in a whole different direction. It is just enough to stop your brain and give you that time in your brain to think of a better solution.
Yes.
So that's the power. It's called the cue to do. Cue being the cue, what you're feeling in your body, and then to do whatever action you take next.
Wow. I feel like that would work phenomenal with kids. And I know you know of another activity that's my favorite.
Yes, yes.
That I want you to share with Cherese, because I think that Cherese's kids, not her children, her biologicals, but the children that she services, can probably utilize that tool, the one that my favorite one.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about?
Are you talking about the stone?
I am talking about the stone. Let me go get mine. It's right here in the kitchen.
So Cherese, you might be at a disadvantage, because one of our favorite activities is called the one stone, and I always keep one on my desk. I taught this activity to my grandson, and now he has, like, there were stones all over my house. Oh, you have one. Bad.
In my coat pocket.
There we go. There we go. Everywhere we go, we're out collecting rocks nowadays. All right, so as soon as she gets back, we'll do this one called the one stone. And again, it's a very simple and easy technique, all right?
Okay.
We're waiting for Miss Yasmine to come back here. Where'd you get your rock from? I'm curious. Why was it in your coat pocket? Yes.
Yes.
Cherese had a rock. Yeah. Yes, Cherese, go ahead.
In my pocket. I'm not sure. I don't know. I have my grandson sometimes. I don't know if I took it from him or one of my kids and just actually put it in my pocket, but I was in my pocket, my winter jacket this morning. So that's how I knew it was in there.
Perfect timing. So she has a rock. So like I said earlier, I taught this activity to my 7-year-old grandson, and he knows how to use it. I did a video last week with my grandchildren, and both of my grandchildren, two out of the three know how to do this activity, and they've even come up with their little own variations for how to use it, but they're able to teach it. It's just that simple.
Wow.
All right, so let's just, you hold the rock in your hand, and you know, sometimes when we're talking about mindfulness, or you know, like kind of slowing your thinking down, people ask you to close your eyes and kind of go to a place. This isn't that. Sometimes in the middle of, you know, your chaos, or kids screaming, or your office going crazy, sometimes we need to just keep our eyes open and focus on what is in front of us. And so this is what this activity is. So if you just hold the rock in your hands, and I want you to just take your time and just start to kind of feel your rock. What does it feel like? What does it look like? What does it weigh? How heavy is it? How smooth is it? How rough is it? What do you feel? What do you see? And I just want you to start to, you're just going to kind of breathe in and out gently. You don't have to take any pressure doing this. You've been breathing forever, right? Just breathe in and out slowly and surely as you're paying attention to the rock. And we're going to do that for a series of 10 counts. And I'll count so you don't even have to worry about it. Just examine your rock, turn it over side to side, look at it from all the angles. Feel the weight of it in your hand. Feel all the different areas of it. 5 more. 3 more. 'And last one. And on that last breath, now I'd like you to just, as you're looking again, I'd just like you to see, what do you notice about your rock? Maybe something you didn't notice at the beginning when you started. What do you notice about your rock? Just notice whatever it is that you're noticing. What do you notice about it? Yasmine, you go first.
So I noticed that my rock is flat on one side, has bumps on this side, has a piece that slopes here. It reminds me of myself. I am imperfectly perfect, in that sense.
Yeah.
And even though this rock may seem imperfect in shape, to me, it's perfect because it shows its very many dimensions.
Yeah.
And that's how we are. We have many dimensions to ourselves. Some that we show people, some that we show our closest family and friends. And this is me trying to be perfect for the outside world.
Yeah.
This is me, how anybody that knows me knows my flaws. And then right here, I look at this little sloop as it's almost trying to make that connection, but I still don't allow it to be a full connection.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's still beautiful because it's beautiful on both sides. It's just a little misshapen.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Good. All right, Cherise, your turn.
As I was holding my rock and I was listening to you and, you know, saying, what does it feel like and what does it look like and everything. And I was just feeling on the rock and holding it, like looking at the weight and stuff like that. But then towards the end, you said, now I want you to really look. And when I really look, it's not always smooth. Everything is not smooth. So I related it to life. In life, there's always going to be a rough patch. No matter how smooth everything's going, there's always going to be that one thing, but you can still get over it because everything else around it is still smooth. It's that one part right here that I keep rubbing against that's rough. And that's what clicked on me. And I just started writing down stars. So I was listening to Yasmin, but I started writing down stars because I started getting chills and stuff. And I'm like, oh, you know?
Wow. Wow. Yep. Oh, that's so powerful. Wow. I have a rock, as you can see, it's pretty smooth all over. So as I was kind of just rubbing and holding it, what was coming to mind for me was how many years of the water beating against this rock has it taken to get this rock smooth. Like, you know, that doesn't happen instantly. It takes time. But as I was holding it in my hand and just kind of feeling the weight of it, I just suddenly felt like I understood that no matter what we're going through right now, we can handle the weight. Like I felt my hand holding the weight of it, and it just kind of spoke to me. We can handle the weight of this moment.
Mm-hmm.
We can handle where it is, where we are right now. We can handle it.
Point.
Yeah.
Right.
That's powerful. I think that other people need to take that mindset of we look in the here and now and get stuck in the rut of they don't see the light at the end of the tunnel because the weight is so heavy to bear, but it does get better.
Yes,
it does. And you know, and you get through it no matter how you get through it, but you get through it, and you always get through it.
absolutely. Absolutely. So if I were to ask you, in terms of your breathing, what did you notice from the beginning of the activity to the end of the activity? What did you feel in your body?
Do you want me to go first?
Sure.
You can go first, Cherese. Go ahead. What did you feel?
In the beginning, it was like, oh, okay, your heart rate.
Oh, we lost Cherese sound. Cherese, unmute yourself, Cherese. Your sound went out. Okay, there we go. Sorry, start over.
So in the beginning, I didn't know what to expect. So listening to you, my heart was going like this. But as you started talking and you're like, really, you pay attention to your rock and da-da-da-da-da, it slowed to where I was like relaxed and able to enjoy the experience. And that's how I found the rough patch on the rock, you know, because I wasn't, you know, at first it's like, it's just smooth, you know what I mean, or whatever. And then it's like, okay, I'm listening, you know. So my heart rate went down and I was able to keep going with the directions, and it was calm. Like, like it's peace. Like, that's what I'm trying to say. I feel peace, you know, not overwhelmed. Or
Okay, Cherese, how were you feeling after in your breathing in your body after the stone activity, the one stone?
In the beginning, when first starting off doing any type of anything that's new for me, I get a little nervous. So in the beginning, my heart was racing and I was listening to you, but I don't think I was hearing you, if that makes any sense.
Yes, it does.
So once I started hearing you, I can feel my heart rate going from to like this.
Yes.
You know, and I was able to like hear you, and then go back and feel through my rock from where in the beginning where I was only feeling smoothness. Now I could feel that little rough patch right there. So from the beginning to the end, in the beginning I felt anxiety, at the end I felt peace.
Yes. Yeah. That's a beautiful thing. And do you see though, when you're feeling anxiety, you're really not able to make good decisions at that point.
Right.
But when you get to that place of peace, you saw everything else around you differently. You saw the rock differently.
Yes.
So it's so important for us to be able to get ourselves quickly, right, to that place of peace. That's why I love this activity.
Yeah.
Yep. Yasmine, did you want to add anything?
No, just that I feel like the activity itself kind of it forces you to get your mind off of what's got you in a cloud so angry, because now you have to focus on what you're holding in your hand, or what you're asked to be visualizing. So now your mind is kind of like switching out from anger mode to, okay, let me follow this one step direction of where I'm supposed to be mentally, where's my happy place. You know, so I think that activity is fantastic, and also that it doesn't have to be like a thing that you can touch for some people. If
Sure.
they don't like the texture. It can just be if you visit a favorite spot. Where's your favorite spot? You know, mine is the mountain. When I feel like I need to declutter my soul, I go to my favorite mountain and I kind of like just soak up nature and be one with nature and just enjoy God's beauty. Everything that He has to offer. So that kind of brings me into, I come out of there feeling like a whole new person.
Absolutely. You know, when Tristan did this the other day, and he's 8 now, Cherese, when he led this activity for us, he started off by saying it doesn't have to be a rock. It could be a penny or a pen or something else that you have near you, as long as you have that kind of point of contact.
Right.
And I know he's tried to take a rock to school and they wouldn't let him have the rock in school, but so he found another way to be able to do his activity without having a rock in his hand.
That's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and it's, for me, it makes me happy to see that a child can even do the activity, teach the activity.
Yes.
Because they're not just helping now other kids. They're still helping themselves as well because they're staying on track to what the goal is, and the goal is to kind of diffuse what the negative feelings are and become more positive and kind of break out of that. You know, so it's an excellent activity, I feel, for adults, yes, but mainly for the kids because it gives them something to kind of like focus on other than being angry in the moment.
Absolutely.
You know, let me focus on this.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You know, and it's nice that he can teach it.
Yeah, definitely. He loves teaching it. So now he's become known as my assistant whenever it's time to teach it. We do it together. But Cherise, I have just loved having you on and part of this conversation. And what I'm hoping we can do is invite you to come back. I think we need to do a session maybe with more moms on the call and talk about how they're feeling. Give them some tips about ways they can work with their kids during this time, but then maybe do another little bit of a session like this where we kind of give them some tools for how they can find their peace in the middle of this kind of dark spot around coronavirus right now.
That sounds great. Thanks for having me. That sounds great. If you guys let me know a little bit in advance, I probably can invite some of my families on.
That would be wonderful.
You know, some of my families, maybe even a coworker of mine and her family, so that way we get a diverse crowd and we know.
Yes, that would be wonderful. All right, so we'll plan that. So come on back, join us again. All right, thank you so much, both of you.
Thank you.
Fabulous afternoon, and we'll get together again, all right?
Okay.
All right, take care, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.